Hey folks, welcome back to Pokemon Y. We're here in Anastar City. I took the liberty of just flying over here and saving you the trip there. Fair warning, this episode and next episode are going to be post-commentary. I done goofed with the recording and forgot to actually record the commentary. So that's gonna be a thing. Gonna try to keep it as cool as possible anyway, though. Anyway, Sycamore there. He is hanging out at Coraway Town, which is our next town on the path south. So we will just head on down to Route 18. I think it's 18. Yes, it is 18, because I thought it was 19 at first, but it's 18. And then this lady corrected me. Thank you, lady. So Route 18, we couldn't come here before because, as you might suspect with these construction workers, there was a blockage, something to do with Durant. I'm not entirely sure what, because I wasn't paying attention right there. But you can't come here until you do all the Team Flare stuff. So now it's open, and we can head on our way on. I listened to the Google Translate lady try to say it. Étroite. It's like narrow valley or something like that. Because this route, as you'll see in just a little bit, is a narrow valley, as you might expect, kind of carved by a river flowing through it. And then a little bit later, you have Grand Valley or Wide Valley. That is carved by the same river, but it is wider. And I have to say that this route, after we've just done a bunch of kind of cool ice routes and a swamp route and other interesting things like that, this route feels very normal and kind of bland, to be honest. Also, watch this Graveler just totally whiff it on the self-destruct. Pathetic. But yeah, it's a route with grass and trees and a river flowing through it. And the valley aspect is kind of cool, but just in general, this whole route feels kind of uninteresting. To me, at least. Anyway, throwing down a repel. I think a lot of the Pokemon on this route, or at least some of them, are kind of rugged mountain defensive Pokemon, because there is a cave connected to this route that they would be coming out of. But I again, throw down a repel. I don't really pay attention to what is on this route. This kid, he's a buggy kid. He's not a bug catcher, but he's a buggy kid. And I'm relatively happy with the levels for a lot of the trainer Pokemon here. This guy's got level 48. I think 48 to 50 is more or less what you'll encounter on this route. And wild Pokemon are just a couple levels below that. And if you're like me and you haven't been using the experience share for quite a while, they'll be roughly, a couple levels below you. And we're getting to a point in the game where a couple levels really isn't that much. A level 7 versus a level 10, that's a pretty big difference. A level 48 to a level 51, not so much. The bigger difference is going to be coming from the fact that we have EVs and they probably don't. So they're going to be a lot weaker. Anyway, just total killer one-shot on that pincer there. What a schlub. Take that, small child. And yeah, so, the one kind of nifty aspect that we'll see if we stop looking at that grass, I guess, is there is a bridge crossing over this very narrow carved valley. Almost a canyon, honestly. And I think that's a neat little set piece there. but you can't even surf on this route, I'm pretty sure. I tried. I at one point went back and grabbed Lapras and tried to find a place to surf, and I couldn't find one. I could not. Which is a little weird. Anyway, Mine Shao here. I've learned my lesson with Mine Shao. It's not a good matchup for Ava. Robin, however, can kick its butt. Good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Anyway, you may have also noticed there was a cut tree over there. We can cut it down. We can. If we had my Nidorino on my team right now. And I think we will later on in the recording, if I remember right. Anyway, the other big feature of Route 18 is this cave in here where the railroad tracks are leading in. This is Terminus Cave, and it's this big optional dungeon that we can do most of now, but not all of. The biggest, greatest prize from it is only accessible after you have defeated the Elite Four, so I'm going to pass on it until then. I want to do it all in one shot. I could get a couple levels, I could get some good items, some good TMs, but I do just want to do it all in one shot. So, deal with it. Anyway, this guy has a very interesting style of battle. It's an inverse battle, and I really wish I had the original commentary for this, because I was doing all sorts of thinking out loud, and I was, narrating my train of thought, but that commentary was lost, like tears in rain. So I'll just have to make do. Inverse battles, I think this is the only place you can do them. Inverse battles are battles where type effectiveness is reversed, so what would normally be not very effective is now super effective, and what would ordinarily be completely ineffective is also super effective, and stuff like that. So say this Houndoom, normally Ava would be a pretty bad matchup, because fire is super effective against ice, but turn the tables, and unfortunately I still forgot about physical versus special defense, so even though that's not a very effective Fire Blast, it was enough to take Ava down. A lot of the time in this battle, I did get caught up with the typing and forgot all about stats. So like I brought in Will here for a super effective Seed Bomb, knowing the Fire Blast would be not very effective, and luckily Will did manage to survive it. So I actually really like these kinds of matches. It's good that they're only occasional. If half the battles in the game were inverse matches, that wouldn't work at all. But as occasional gimmick matches, I think they're actually really fun. Anyway, Rhyperior here normally will be a great matchup because quadruple effective Seed Bomb, but now that would be a very, very bad idea. So instead I bring in Dana to resist the not very effective Earthquake. See, it's so weird. It's so weird. If you've been playing Pokemon for 20 years like I have, it feels so alien. Unfortunately, that Thunderbolt only a 2 KO, and that Dragon Tail normally would be completely ineffective against Dana's Fairy type, but alas, it was super effective. Bringing in Robin instead, and in retrospect, I had a better option here. I could have used other than Acrobatics, because again, Rhyperior, even though it is weak to flying in this scenario, does have good physical defense. So Acrobatics, not the best option. But wasn't too bad. And there's just something viscerally weird about a flying move being effective against a being made of rocks. It's so weird. And again, Robin ordinarily would be a great matchup against Trevenant. He could use a fire move, he could use a flying move, but here, not so much. I try bringing in Will, I think is what I'm contemplating right now. So yeah, I have a Grass Ghost versus Grass Ghost, wanted to use a Seed Bomb, which I think would be super effective, because Grass is ordinarily not very effective against itself. But unfortunately, Trevenant kind of had the same idea. So, Grass super effective against Grass. Will is down. Sad. But then I had a brilliant idea. I didn't have a great option against Trevenant, because Robin and Vivi would both be not great. But Petra, because ordinarily fighting would be completely ineffective against Ghost, her fighting type moves would be super effective. But I would have to watch out for any Ghost moves from Trevenant. And there we go. So another cool thing about inverse battles here with this person, Inver, is that he has actually a very, very large repertoire of Pokemon, and he chooses 3 random Pokemon. I assume they're random, not like chosen based on your team. So every time you fight him, you're probably going to see a new matchup and a new mix. Anyway, depending on how well you do in the battle, I think it's based on how many super effective hits you land, you will get a different fabulous prize, such as berries, or even evolutionary stones, or rare candies. I didn't do great there, so I got a Yachi berry, but, you know, a berry's a berry. Because that battle kind of took a lot out of my team, and I don't know if that was just my lack of experience with inverse battles, or it was actually a pretty difficult fight, I am reviving everyone and using some Moo Moo milk to get them back to fighting shape. So yeah, that was a little bit of a rough battle, just a tiny bit. Anywho, back to the old rigmarole of regular battles. And I remember that it was hard for me to adjust back out of the inverse battle mindset. So when I had Ava versus the Stunfisk, I was like, wait, is this a good matchup? I don't know if this is a good matchup. And it was a decent matchup. It did have special moves to use against Ava, which isn't great, but Avalanche was super effective. And then it used a static ability, which I have a long documented history of grievances with. Just because it's never been on my side. Luckily I had paralyzed heals, but still. Alright, so, I do actually, I kind of misspoke earlier when I said the bridge was only the only interesting set piece here. I think the train tracks are actually pretty cool. Although, damn, that's probably a really sharp turn for a train to take. Oh, it's a minecart, actually, not a train. So that's a little more reasonable. But having these kind of partially dilapidated, overrun minecart tracks, that's pretty neat. Anyway, because inverse battles were not enough gimmick battles for one route, we also have a sky battle. And here's where I show off Robin has a new move. I was weighing the options, I was looking at her stats, and I decided her physical attack and her special attack are close enough that the power boost from Flamethrower compared to Flame Charge, I'd probably get more damage out of Flamethrower. Because it's like 50 base power versus 95 or 90, I think, which is a significant upgrade. Anyway, this Flygon, it's not actually a flying type, but it has Levitate, so it counts. This Flygon has Stone Edge, And Stone Edge is quadruple effective against both Vivi and Robin, and it's faster than Vivi, so I couldn't get in the super effective Draining Kiss, which means Vivi is down. And it was down to Robin to take out the last 2 Pokemon on this person's team without anything super effective against this Flygon, and also quadruple weakness to what this Flygon is dishing out. And this was about the time when I realized I was going to lose this match. Yeah. You saw it here, folks. I left a loss in the recording. Because yeah, if it was to a Flygon, I was okay with it, honestly. But yeah, if you lose a Sky Battle, you just get popped out to before the Sky Battle with all your flying Pokemon fainted. Don't have to worry about going back to the Pokemon Center and backtracking and all that. Anyway, I tried to cross those 2 pieces of grass without the repel, but no, this Girder had other plans. Girder. Have I voiced my dislike of Girder in this series? Because Girder is, it's kind of in the ranks of Diggersby in terms of Pokemon. They're just absolute trash garbage that I hate. I'm gonna keep this PG, but they can go do naughty things alone. I don't want them in my life. Anyway, let's throw down a Super Repel, because I used my Max Repel last time, which was not worth it. And here I discovered, oh my goodness, there's stuff up here. I'm gonna have to figure out an alternate route, and I don't know the way. I'm gonna have to figure it out. Huh. Alright, I completely forget what this lady has. Oh, now I remember, she has a couple fairy types. She has a Granbull and a certain something else. So this Granbull likes to decrease your attack stat. It has Intimidate as its ability, which lowers your attack stat 1 stage. Then it uses Play Rough, which has the possible side effect of decreasing your attack another stage. So I'm fortunate that this Avalanche critted. I don't know if it would have KO'd if it hadn't critted. I mean, not that the Granbull would have been doing a whole lot of damage to Ava, but still, saved me some time and effort. And then, a Dedenne. I think that's how it's pronounced. Someone in the comments told me how it's pronounced. It's related to the French pronunciation, or the French form of the word antenna. And I looked up the anime pronunciation. So it's Dedenne, or Dedenne. But obviously, there's an opportunity for a mirror match. So, Dana versus Dedenne, Fairy type versus Fairy type, Play Rough versus Play Rough. A lot of playing rough in this battle. That's how this girl likes it. Wasn't actually too big of a deal, to be honest. But I always appreciate a mirror match. I don't know what's going on with her. She's like in a rush, but doesn't know to where. Anyway, you can also see there are flowers on this route, so there are a couple different encounter tables for this route. I don't know what's in those different encounter tables, but it's a thing. It's a thing. By the way, smashing these rocks, because you can get fabulous prizes from smashing rocks, like that big pearl and a revive. Here's a minecart. I'm pretty sure I actually missed an item, because I'm thinking I saw an item earlier while I was watching this and recording, and I'm like, I don't think I got that item. Anyway, that is actually all of Route 18. That's Corway Town down there. But I was not satisfied. I wanted to see, can we actually surf on that river, and how do we get up to that section divided by the ledge? We have to cut that tree, and we have to fight a Durant. I spoiled it a couple seconds early, but it's a Durant. Durant is a Pokemon that I want to try out sometime, but it's always available so late in the game. It's a bug steal that you can't get until like Victory Road in Black and White, and can't get until now in X and Y. I'm not sure if you can get it early in RS. I'm not sure. But I was thinking, man, this Durant's kind of a pain in the butt. It's got pretty decent defenses, it looks like, because Ava is a pretty strong Pokemon in terms of physical attack. But it took that Rock Tomb quite nicely. It was a neutral Rock Tomb. So I tried running away, and it's like, okay, that didn't work, because Ava's pretty slow. So let's KO it and see if it doesn't try to keep using Dig, and then it KOs Ava, and everything is terrible. So it is a bug steal, though. So much like Scizor, it is pretty weak to fire. Unfortunately, Robin is still fainted from that flying battle, air battle. I'm completely forgetting what they're called. So Dana had to do the job instead. Anyway, I want to go past that cut tree. I want to cut it down. I want to ride that rail and see what I can get. So I am dashing back to Anastar real quick to grab Nidorino from the PC. Alright, back in action. Let's go cut down that tree. And uh-oh, we're being ambushed again. So this is Heatmore. He's kind of a counterpart to Durant. Durant is an ant. Heatmore is an ant-eater. Durant is Steel Bug. Heatmore is Fire. They go together like PB&J. Again, usually pretty late game availability, so I have not used one on a team, but I would really like to try sometime. Anyway, Nidorino cuts that thing down. There's a berry tree. We can get a Whacken berry. I don't know what kind of berry that is. And there's a PP up, which I probably have a couple of at this point. I might look into using them eventually. Did a backflip there, totally unintentional, pretty rad. And yeah, I can't find a way to surf on this place. I brought Lapras also just in case I could find a place to surf, but I could not. So surfing will have to wait. And that means that we have made our way to Koraway Town. It's a neat, rustic little town that we are going to explore in the next episode. So, thank you for watching, and I will see y'all next time.